Welcome to the Sustainability Community Forum for the next principal candidate. To start off, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Some people may not have read your bio yet, so go ahead and give us a little brief introduction of yourself.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim McNamara. I am currently the education director at the Baird School, which is a K-8 therapeutic program in Burlington, just a couple miles away. But before that, I was an assistant principal at a high school in Juneau, Alaska. And I also worked at the Alaska Department of Education in the special education program management and compliance section, which allowed me to see and travel across the state of Alaska and get to know lots of schools there. And previous to that, my teaching experience includes special education, as well as English literacy work. Mostly I've been a special educator and I've worked in a variety of grade levels. And in Massachusetts and New Hampshire were some of the places that I worked prior to that. When coming back to the East Coast area, we really wanted to be in this area. Vermont has been a special place for me as a kid visiting, as well as a young adult coming to the Burlington area. So I love the diversity that is present here. I love the outdoors opportunities and learning new things. In my bio that you may or may not scan if you wish to, I talked about a little bit about learning the maple syruping process. Hello, come on in. Yeah, no problem. So I like learning new things. One of the other things I've been toying with lately is ceramics. So I've never done that in my life, but just recently as a family, we started taking some courses in that just for fun. I also enjoy running, reading. I'm a big fan of books and do a lot of reading at home for enjoyment. So that's just a little bit about me, but looking forward to sharing a little bit more about my professional self in this interview.
Awesome, thank you. What excites you about leading a magnet elementary school in Burlington School District, and what draws you to the Sustainability Academy?
Yeah, a lot excites me about the opportunity. I really enjoyed spending the day here today. I got to meet some students and chat and learn a little bit about what people feel makes this place special, which there's a lot. And that sustainability idea is one that is very intriguing to me. I think it relates to so many things and allows for such creativity to pull in all of the things that we're working on and doing in education in the curriculums that are being used. So, I have this big idea of sustainability that I got today at one of the teacher meetings. And this was really cool to see and look at. And I'd be really excited about learning more and working with the amazing group of folks here. The students were awesome to be able to, super friendly, wanted to show off things about their school, learned a lot about the trout parade that's coming up, and got to, see and hear some of the really cool things that are happening.
Thank you.
My name's Natasha. I have 3 students here at Sustainability Academy and a handful of older kids as well. Second question, how do you plan to ensure that all students, regardless of their background, feel welcomed, respected, and represented in our school's culture and curriculum?
This is a really important question, and one that I feel like pulls back to the community aspect of a school and making sure that everybody feels welcome and valued. And that is work that, I've always been a part of in any school that I've been in and really enjoy leading. Because I believe that if people, that's both staff and students, want to be in a place, that it just makes everything better and easier and happier. People feel like they want to connect with each other and want to come back each day. And so that would be a goal of mine. I see that just spending the little time that I did today, that there is a lot already happening in that area. So I would want to continue to foster that and help grow it even further. I think this mentions the curriculums. I think that is, an area that I heard today a little bit about in terms of, curriculums allow for a lot of structure in a classroom and some consistency across grade levels, which is great. And that's something that we need, but we also need to have some flexibility and creativity in how that's delivered. So ensuring that, all students see themselves present in the books, for example. That's an easy way that groups can make sure that people are represented.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a parent of a first and third grader here. Deep learning. It requires more than just memorization of facts. It requires students to make connections, think critically, and apply their knowledge. How do you plan to assess and measure students' depth of understanding and ensure that they are equipped with the skills necessary for success in an ever-changing world?
This one, I think I got to see a little bit of the professional learning community process today that is in existence here already. And I think those groups of educators can be really key in this. We have a lot of assessments in place. The students just had to do the state testing this week, right? Or last week. They were doing it this week at my school. So there's that. And I think that can be a valuable way to see and know what students are learning and what they know. But it's not always the only way to demonstrate learning. So really looking to see what else is in place and what else could be in place. I think the idea of the sustainability theme there is something to pull from. Having students work on something, creating something, seeing a process from start to finish is something that really helps to see some of those pieces as well. In anything, looking at what's in place, what might be working really well, what's missing, and what we might need to do a little differently to make sure that we are being able to see what students know and can do, and then being able to adjust as needed when, we may not be meeting the goals.
I'm Jamie, and I have a student here and an older student at the high school. Our school is rich with tradition and diverse needs among staff, students, and community members. How will you help us maintain a productive and supportive school and community culture that honors wellness and equity amongst all members?
Two very important things, wellness and equity. And there's things that I, really try to incorporate for myself regularly. So role modeling that, being a listener and listening and understanding what people are coming in with, and being approachable, I think is really important as a leader. Because if people don't feel comfortable to share something, then you're not going to know that information. And so being able to be open to other people's perspectives, be open to the feedback, asking for feedback and asking for it in a variety of ways is important. Ongoingly, not just a once a year survey, but really check-in points over the course of the year. I think students have a lot to say. And so being able to, have processes in place to be able to check in with students as well. I heard some people today talking about some student surveys that they had done and using that information. So that's just an example. I know tomorrow night you all are having a community dinner, so that sounds really cool. Maintaining those things and supporting those, adding things where needed. I think the community that's behind a school is really just makes the school more powerful and impactful. So really leveraging that.
I'm Kim. I'm a teacher here and a community member. I believe, but as a community member, I believe in the importance of clear and consistent communication to promote understanding and collaboration. How do you plan to ensure that communication methods and expectations are effectively communicated and upheld among all members of our school community?
I too believe in communication and clear communication. I think regular forms of it are important. Having expected ways that people can get information is key in a school. We have to convey a lot of information. So finding the right ways to do it, the right times, the right modalities. Sometimes an email a day is too much for some folks to be able to track. So really, consolidating, making sure that the priority information is given on a timely basis is important. I appreciate tonight having some interpreters here to support that communication as well. So really making sure we're meeting the needs of all of the community, which could be different with families, with staff, with students as well. So adjusting as needed.
Hi, nice to see you. My name is Amy and I'm a community member with Shulman Farms. What are your vulnerabilities as a leader? What types of students and families do you work best with? And what types of behaviors challenge you? Sure.
I have many vulnerabilities as a leader, but the ones that I'll select to share tonight, I'm an empathetic person, which I think is a strength in a lot of cases. I think sometimes I have to keep that balance because as a leader, I strive to be equitable and fair and just, and so really, making sure that accountability piece is important as well. So approaching situations and keeping my own emotional reactions in check is something that is always something that I'm striving to do. In my experience in working with students that may have some behavioral or social emotional challenges, I feel like I've gotten decent at that over the years to be able to, maintain my own regulation in sometimes stressful situations. So that is something I would bring. Hi, welcome. And students that I tend to work well with, I think, my background in special education and working in some alternative settings, sometimes students that might be struggling in school or students that I tend to, really gravitate towards, as well as student leaders. I love, working with student leaders and helping them to, make their school better or, take on an initiative. Students, but generally I really like working with kids in general. I think it's fun and exciting, and I love connecting with people and getting to know them. So both kids and human beings. I think when we work in schools, you work with people and it's fun, and that gives me energy. And students that or behaviors that I might find tricky. We have the same age students. I have a first grader and a third grader. And sometimes when, there might be something that's happening at home that I see then play out in school too, I'm like, okay, I got to take a minute here because this is feeling a little too familiar. That can be overwhelming sometimes. But also, I think that, if there's something that's just really tricky or really hard to manage, a kind of head scratcher, that can get hard sometimes. So really pulling in a team of folks is a strategy that I use to address those types of things.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. We still have quite a few minutes left if you want to ask the community questions.
Ooh. Very interesting opportunity. I did hear today, I asked some students, something that they love about their school. So I'd love to hear from folks that would like to share just something that they feel really.
Sorry.
Go ahead, right across the school.
She's in the
Yeah, no problem. Just wave to everybody at home.
No, I
So yeah, something that people feel like is special about the Sustainability Academy.
something that's special about SA.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say, I don't know you, so, and I'm Dan. I've got Ari in kindergarten and Maya in 4th grade. So if you did work here, Maya for one more year and then Ari for a while. And when we toured the district and saw different schools, I came here and and I get choked up, I met Nina, and I said, this is who I want to like have my children with through kindergarten. And so I just think that that's a level of like approaching what this job is and what it means to, I think, probably a lot of people here is just somebody who has brought the community together and held us together through a lot of intense stuff, tricky times. And it says a lot about just all of us as a community, like what we're looking for in a leader is probably something that we all see in ourselves. Which is, I mean, it comes down to just like that we care about each other, and yeah, and we love our kids.
Nice.
So that's how I feel about it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Erin. I'm sorry I was late. My daughter's in second grade. I think one thing that I love about SA is that it's one of the few places in Burlington that feels like a place of abundance. And whether it's supplies, kindness, organization, it's just really a place where things aren't scarce. So coming to a place where there's sharing, was really important to our family. And it really is beautiful.
Do you have any other questions for us?
Oh, did you have something to add to that?
Oh, go ahead. I'm going to speak as a parent. One of the things that's most special about this is some of the unexpected events that sort of bring the community together. Like, I think if you have an opportunity to see the community dinner tomorrow, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in an elementary school. They do a clothing, like the pre-K program organizes a clothing swap and a winter warm-up they call, and just the way that people turn up to provide for communities and swap things out. It's like, there's just some really special events and traditions that as a parent family, when you're coming into this space, you kind of see the warmth of the community. It's pretty awesome.
I'll actually add something. So I'm Victor Prusek. I'm the Director of Engagement for the district. I was hired actually to launch this school, support the staff here, and integrate Arts Academy. So I met with some parents today to talk about the two schools, and I finally had to say, like, I'm biased. Like, not only did I start them, but like, I love these two schools, and it's really true. Like, I love them a little more, and I love the other four. Didn't say that. Don't tell Tom that.
It's on YouTube now forever.
But what's really like the data point that I use, and it touches on exactly what you said, I think. So when I spend time in our middle and high schools and I see who our student leaders are, there is a disproportional number of students who come from this school and integrated arts. And I mean wildly disproportional numbers wise. And that says a lot, because to me, as a kid someone who had his kid go through this district starting in middle school, like that's why we came here to this district. We didn't come for I knew she'd get a great academic education. It was this sort of character building piece, and the students in this school get that in spades compared to their peers. They really do. And a range of kids who wouldn't have those opportunities if they were in other schools. I truly believe that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What do I have for time?
About 5 minutes.
5? So clearly a lot of amazing things happening here. Is there something that folks feel like is a need for the school or the school community?
This might not be I'm Erin again. This might not be a defined need by our community, but something that really has surprised me that I think is like, so many people are late to school. And can't imagine how disruptive it is, because my daughter always talks about all the processes in her class and how much she likes that. So to have all these folks just like rolling in late.
Statewide. It's been statewide since COVID, right?
Countrywide.
Wait, I know it's a problem everywhere, you guys. It's just.
I know that there are
It's a
resources
need.
being put towards that for those exact reasons.
I think it's the same challenges that we're facing in Burlington in general, right? And this is a school that's right in the downtown, and it, you know, we've got a new gate that now is padlocked, which I came up against because I walked from here thinking I had to go on the front door, and then I was trapped, and I was like, I am too old to jump a gate. So I came back and knocked on a window. But like, that's part of it, but our back is still totally open here, and I know they do a sweep every morning, but they've found, you know, the paraphernalia and kids that have after the sweep, because it's like, you know, under some leaves, and I think that's just like a community-wide challenge, trying to keep our kids safe without, you know, putting a gate around the whole school and making it inaccessible outside
Well,
of
even with a
hours.
gate too, I mean, that was my daughter that, she's in 4th grade. You know, they're on the playground, North Street's right there, JR's, the shop, like, you know, you see everything. And I was laughing one day because she said she and a friend of hers who, they moved, they're not here anymore, but they sometimes just sit on the bench and watch stuff unfold at JR's. And I thought that was funny, but then I was like, well, that's also like messed up. You know, I'm picturing them sitting there like eating popcorn and watching a movie, but the kids here are definitely exposed to some real life stuff just because of where we are. And I think, you know, you want to shelter them from that as much as you can, but it's a challenge. And I think that, you know, honesty is like great when you're talking with them about what's going on, but how do you balance that with just letting them be kids?
Sure. And also around confidentiality with, like, there's arrests or something.
Yeah.
Before pickup, and it involves someone like, and it's just like the kids are telling you the information they have, but it's not something where you.
Right.
Well, awesome, Kim. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you here. Had a lot of fun out on the recess in the PLC.
Did have a good day.
And
Thank
thank
you
you
all.
for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you all. I really appreciated spending the day, getting to know some of you and your time. I know the evening time is precious for people to do what they need to do at home and spend time with the family. So I appreciate you all coming out, and those of you at home, whether it's me or somebody else, I really am glad to have been able to see the things that you all do here. I think it is a special place, and I've appreciated getting to know you all a little bit.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
If silence called you out to embarrass you.
Right.
I decided not to.
I know,
Yeah.
during the day, the kids.
So you're a good example.
Yeah, they got here. Can do.
Good afternoon, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Could you please start by introducing yourself with a brief little summary? Not everybody has read your bio and not everybody online has read your bio, so just kind of give us a brief introduction. Or resume.
Hi, my name is Annsunee Swift, and I was born and raised in Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand, northern part of Thailand, and I came to the U.S. in 1991 through the Pearl S. Buck Foundation. When I was 5, my mom signed my sister and me up to receive support from the Pearl S. Buck Foundation. As some of you might know, Pearl Buck, she is an author. She grew up in China, and she saw a lot of children like me and my sister who had a Thai mom or Vietnamese mom or a Chinese mom and have servicemen as their dad. And then my dad was not around, as many other children like me, their dad went in the picture. And so Pearl S. Buck started this organization to support the children with medical care and dental care and school uniforms and supplies and whatnot by signing us up with match us up with sponsors who sent us $25 a month to support us. And so the other thing that that program does is they match you with a foster family that wanted to bring foster children in America. And so I was one of those kids, and I came to Quakertown, Pennsylvania, my first place. And in July, and then stayed there was put back in school. I was 17 and I got put in like 10th grade, I believe. And then I didn't speak English, so it made sense at the time, but, and then my sister was living with another foster family in Albany, New York, and we really wanted to be together, and my that foster family took me in as well. So I then went to Albany Academy for Girls and finished my high school there. And then I moved to Vermont in 1996 when I think it was December of 1996. Vermont was very different back then, and I got a job working at a Thai restaurant my first day here in Vermont. I went to the mall. It was a funny story. I just want to say it was too long. I went to the mall back then, the University Mall, when they had the pet store still, and I heard some people talking in Thai, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to them." So I went started the conversation with them, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the Thai restaurant tomorrow to apply for a job." And they're like, oh yeah, we'll see you there. And turns out they were the owners of the restaurant and Parima. I don't know if you ever yeah. So a long time ago. So that's, and I struggle to make ends meet being a waitress and eventually a bartender. And then I met my husband, Ethan, and he he got a job working for the state of Vermont and down in the Bennington and Rutland area. So we moved down there, and I decided I really needed to be educated, have a bachelor degree in order to get a secure job, starting a family. And I always wanted to be a teacher, so I started out subbing at the Otter Valley Union High School, and then eventually I applied to Caston State College, or Caston University now, and I had my daughter at the time soon after, and so went to school and raising a kid and taking out student loans, which I still have, and so then it took me a while to secure a teaching position. I was a paraprofessional for a while, for a year or two, and a reading tutor. So I worked my way through. Eventually, I landed a job as a classroom teacher in Rutland City, and went back to school, got my master's, and then went back to school again, and got my principal endorsement. And here I am today. John told me I had my hand up.
What excites you about leading a magnet elementary school in Burlington School District, and what draws you to the Sustainability Academy?
I'm really excited to be back in Burlington, and I have always wanted to work in Burlington School. I've applied for many positions here, and I'm honored to be invited to come here today and to come this far. And I really love the idea of the word sustainability that we are teaching our young people about. How do we live sustainably and in a safe environment, and continue to provide and care for the environment and one another, and engaging and teaching them this young to be able to be productive community members. Did I answer the other ones?
My name's Natasha. I have 3 kids here at SA, and I'm going to read question number 2.
Okay.
How do you plan to ensure that all students, regardless of their background, feel welcomed, respected, and represented in our school's culture and curriculum?
My first step would be that I would get to know all the kids, and that's my favorite part, getting to know all of them and knowing their name, making connections with the students. And I believe that, that will make all children feel welcome when we know, when we have that connection with someone, they know our name and we have something in common, finding ways to connect and learning about them, learning about who they are, about their culture, and learning from the teachers about who have had, institution knowledge and have had these students in their classrooms. And I also would, continue to find out like what curriculum is in place for them and see where I can add to the value that's already here existing in this school.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a parent of a first and third grader here. I'm going to read question 3.
Sure.
Deep learning requires more than just memorization of facts. It requires students to make connections, think critically, and apply their knowledge. How do you plan to assess and measure students' depth of understanding and ensure that they are equipped with the skills necessary for success in an ever-changing world?
Some of the teachers that are here today would already know this, but I've learned something today during the PLC, Professional Learning Community at the school here today, and I was really impressed with the programs that's already in place around not just providing that road counting or testing for just memorization. And there are project-based learning happening, and I feel like that is a great way to make sure that our students really have hands-on experience to and be able to expose to also like the community, like the trout, and engaging with the environment and going to Shelburne Farm and knowing all of those are skills that are so much more important than what is 4 times 3. And we have calculator and iPhone we can use, but I mean it's nice to know that immediately. But I think just ways to assess. I would look into what is already existing here. How do we assess what data points are we utilizing here at the school, and just talking with teachers and finding out more of how do they gather data around their work.
I have question 4.
Okay.
My name is Jamie, and I have a student here and in the high school. Our school is rich with tradition and diverse needs among staff, students, and community members. How will you help us maintain a productive and supportive school and community culture that honors wellness and equity amongst all members?
I would refer to what I've said earlier around just getting to know the students and about getting to know the families and the staff and making sure that I know their values and I know who they are as people and making sure that we build relationships and trust and so that I can understand and be able to support them, continue to support them in the way that is productive. I think it's so important. Like we all want to have the sense of, want to feel that we belong, and I think that's. I would really make sure that is. I feel like I have the ability to really cultivate that type of environment for my staff and students and families.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm a teacher and community member. I believe in the importance of clear and consistent communication to promote understanding and collaboration. How do you plan to ensure that communication methods and expectations are effectively communicated and upheld among all members of our school community?
Communication is so important, and that I feel like there's always room for improvement. I would always look for feedback and seek to make sure that everyone were able to be notified or communicated, and involving family and parents communication is so important. We want to know what's going on in school. We want to know how our kids being treated in school, and what happened that day, and is there something that happened, even if it's not a big deal. It's nice to just hear from the principal or the teacher, and just knowing that like your kids are safe here at school. So I would plan to make sure that I overly communicate at first, but then, just to make sure that I get feedback of like what works, what communication pipeline works for you, and adjust accordingly.
Hi, Annsunee. I'm Amy. I'm a community partner from Shelburne Farms. This question is, what are your vulnerabilities as a leader? What types of students and families do you work the best with, and what types of behaviors challenge you?
I would like to say that I really truly enjoy all people coming here, having to get to know everybody. It was exciting, like new world, new place, and I continue to hold that dear to me. Sometimes I get lost, but it's okay because I'll meet new people and, I'll talk to somebody. I have a friend, my friend Lisa, always like, I don't know how you could just keep talking to people and just, make friends. And I feel like I have that ability and I really enjoy it. What I think my most, and I'm going to have a hard time saying vulnerability. Yeah, I said it, but kind of with an accent. But there's too many L in there. So I think it takes me, I feel like, longer to speak sometimes to, and also to, I just blank on the word, but to think and make decision right away, because I want to make sure that I know I have all the facts and I am able to make a decision based on facts, and that I take care of everybody. And so I think that's probably my most, I feel like people want to know something instantly, and I think that's the part that I feel a bit vulnerable around, just, when people are wanting information right away, and it's kind of like I need to know all the facts. I want to make sure that we're not jumping, I can't say that we're jumping to conclusion, and that we're put our kids' best interests at heart and doing our work, doing the thing, making decisions based on our kids' needs, right? And that is supportive, and that is going to be a decision that is going to be is not going to further damage the relationship, so. What types of behaviors challenge me? I think I would say going back to communication, I think it's a two-way street. If I don't know what people needs from me, it's really hard to support them. So I think that's a challenge for me to be able to address what people would want from the administration if they're not communicating and making an assumption. I think that's the assumption piece is probably the most challenging one for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Suni. We have about 8 minutes left. Do you have any questions for us as the community?
Oh gosh. I have lots of questions, but I'm so nervous and I don't even remember. I'll try to remember some. I think what what's your hopes and dream for what's important to the community? I know that Sustainability Academy is around community, and what's important to you that you'd like to share with me?
There's a lot. I'm Megan. There's a lot of different kids from different cultures that go to school here, and I think that it's very important to just honor where everybody's coming from. That's economic, that's like culture, just the whole 9 yards. And I think in general, there's been a good job of that done here, and everyone just wants to see that continue and prosper even more.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking when it was quiet. I was going to say that, what were some things that's working really well for the school and that you wanted to keep going back to the traditions and values that you have here. And I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand before.
I'm also Megan.
Oh, hi, Megan.
Happens all the time. Tagging on the first Megan's comment, I guess I think the truly multicultural nature of this little school is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And, were you to take on this role, one thing that I would hope for even more is to find ways. I think the kids are doing really well here, like all these kids coming from different places. My son's first grade class, sometimes we get pictures and the kids are all, we get the girls in hijab and this and that and the other thing, and they're all bunched up doing something cool together. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I would like us as a community and a school to work more to integrate the families more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the parents we may think that we're welcoming them and honoring them, and I think we are, but I think what we're inviting them to do is not always clear. Come participate in this community activity, and I think that we would all benefit if we could make that welcome a bit more clear and integrate people more. That would help.
Yeah. Well, I heard about the trout parade that's happening. Yes,
Big news.
On the 30th, and I think that's a good start for the community to be invited. And
Yes, but it's not the most intuitive activity for
okay.
parents from all over the world. You want to do what? You want us to walk with the fish?
Yeah.
So we have to sort of conceptualize this.
Right.
I think we do well with our community dinners. Yeah, which is tomorrow.
Yeah,
if you wanted to. I feel like we get a good cross section.
That's good.
And the play was that was really well attended, and it was the majority of the 3rd through 5th grade was in the play.
Yeah.
So we have some things that I think it is a challenge. I think for us, one of my children's best friends the parents don't speak any English and you can only rely on a second or third grader to communicate a message so far that you're willing to trust. So we've used interpreters who are here tonight at a community dinner to make a direct connection in person. This is who I am. This is what we're inviting you to do. Can we exchange numbers? We're inviting you to a birthday party. We're inviting you, whatever. Have them come to your house. We live walkable so they can see where it is. And then it's grown into something where we take this child to sports every season. So we have them like 2 or 3 days a week. And sometimes the younger sibling who's a friend of one of my other kids too. But it takes multiple steps like that. And we've been in the community a long time. And so I know some of the like ways to do that. But it is something where you have to be really intentional and really clear about not making any assumptions and making sure that the communication is really clear and that it's going through an adult, not just through a child who may be saying what they say they're saying, or maybe, is adding some extra stuff on there.
It's a sleepover with ice cream.
Right, something. But also to continue the communication, for me, having like a direct contact for them to know where we live, where we're going. We know where you live, to bring, your child back, and who we're allowed to leave them with, and like all those different pieces. It takes time and it takes a lot of effort. And it takes like showing up to somebody's restaurant and the kid's not there. They're getting ice cream and you've got a soccer game in 10 minutes and someone's going to find them, and like all of this, like it takes a lot more pieces, but it's really, I think that's like the essential work, and that is when it becomes like families like trust and know each other, even if like you can't really exchange a lot of direct communication, like you have a multiple year relationship, and like through your kids, like you get to know each other.
Yeah, that sounds that's so nice that you like, I love the idea of having walkable distance and be able to see people and know where they live. And so you must be in the PTO or no? Or,
Are you?
Like, are there some? Okay. Am I promoting PTO for you?
I parent this many kids. My
Oh.
3 youngest are here. I've been on the PTO in the past.
No,
I'm definitely more like direct action at this point. We're making those direct connections and knowing the families, and then making the continuing that outside is where my energy is at this point in terms of like connections. I don't rely on my friends. Really.
Yes, you do.
Yes, nice. That's great.
Any final thoughts from the community about the question?
Maybe you already shared, but here there is a lot of diversity. So community people of different cultural background. So did you ever work with a multicultural group in the past? Maybe you already shared.
No, I have not shared that. No, and that's one thing that, going back to the first question, is being here today, which is so, it was just so nice to just be with all the kids again and seeing how, diverse the student population is. And so I have not worked, I worked in Rutland City. I student taught at Annsunee School, which is in Brandon. I think there may be, 2 or 3 different families that come from, other culture. And then Rutland City is different population. Back when I taught there, it was not very diverse, but so this would be the first place where, the different population.
Well, thank you again for coming. We enjoyed having you for the tour, and playing out on the recess, and joining us in the PLC.
Yes.
Like everybody, to thank the community for showing up as well. I'm so glad to see as many people that showed up here as they did.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I enjoy spending time with your children today. They asked tough questions. I was impressed, and they were welcoming, and the staff was so kind and welcoming me today. And I appreciate the opportunity to be sitting here and this is a big role and a big job. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all. Thank you.
And for everybody at home, please click on the QR code and complete the survey.